On this edition of Check 6 Aviation, it's more tail cone action on the Vans Aircraft RV-10. Coming up. Welcome back to Check 6 Aviation, my friend. It's been a little bit since the last video. We're continuing on with the tail cone build for these, for the RV-10 from Vans Aircraft. And we are on page section 10. That's the tail cone in its entirety, but we're on page 10-4, and we are continuing on from I think we're about step 5, I think, on the page. Actually, no. We're step 5 is for figure 2. We've already completed that with putting on the horizontal stabilizer, attachment bracket right here, and then we're going on to actually we're trying to think of it. What? So this is an oddity. So on page 10-4 they have 2 step 3s, 2 step 4s, 2 step 5s. I don't see where, but they only have 1 step 1 and 2. That is interesting. But anyway, we're about 3/4 of the page through on 10-4, so we're going to go ahead and knock that out in this video, and then hopefully continue on and complete step 10-5 in its entirety, and maybe even move on to 10-6. We'll see. Just a matter of how much time we have to build. So with that, without further ado, one little thing though, we're getting started. So if not sure when this video is going to be released, but please, by all means, keep in mind, keep in your prayers the families affected in the massive flooding in Kerrville, Texas. There have been a number of stories that have come out of that are just amazing, but there's been a lot of people that were affected. I mean, Camp Mystic, I can't say enough about about what happened there. But anyway, our thoughts and prayers go out to the flooding victims of the Texas Hill Country. So I mean, it kind of hits home a little close to home. I mean, that whole area right there is only about 4.5 hours away from where we live here in Abilene, Texas. So anyway, with that said, let's get to building. Of course, with every new product or new part that comes off of the parts department shelves in the back of off to my left shoulder there comes the stripping of the blue vinyl, and then shortly after, the subsequent deburring, because, well, let's face it, it's tedious, but it is definitely necessary, because if you don't deburr and do proper hole prep, I found out through looking at the service bulletin for the elevators that you can cause cracks. You can have cracks come just appear out of nowhere further down the line. And this is my first attempt at using the Fluting Pliers. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably going to have to just do some more research, but I was making things worse, so I decided to not just, it wasn't all that bad, so I just decided that I wasn't going to flute, and I pounded out the flutes that I had put in. So yeah, but just listening to my intro about the flooding in Kerrville just kind of makes me realize just how long ago I shot this video. This was just a little bit after Independence Day of 2025, by the way, just in case you're watching this years after I've already gotten past where I am now. And here we are, we're coming up on Labor Day as of tomorrow, September 1st. So yeah, I've been real busy at work. I'm actually running concrete for a company here that is providing the vast majority of the concrete for the OpenAI Stargate project here in Abilene, otherwise known as Lancium Clean Energy Campus. But yeah, I've been putting in like 70 hours, within a razor's edge of 70 hours each week, and I've had barely any time to focus on family or things that matter. These holes that I just drilled out with the Unibit, those are actually for the cables that control the trim tabs. So it says drill them out to a diameter of 5/8 of an inch. So yeah, they're pretty big. Once again, deburring, hole prep, very important. And this is something that I kind of wish I had realized earlier in the build, especially with the other sections, because I just thought, well, I've got final sized holes. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, kind of is. It will be something that I will watch for going down the road. Especially in the first few condition inspections, any condition inspection, or otherwise known as an annual inspection, because it has to be done every year, will include a thorough looking over for cracks, any weeping rivets. And this has got to be the biggest of them, and I feel like I've been framed here. So, yeah, I just wanted to stop the motion for a moment and take that dad joke to another level. Here we go, going with the Channel Stiffeners. Now, a word of warning. I just plowed through it, and I didn't really realize that they came in different lengths. I saw a bunch of 8-footers. That's fine. But what I didn't see was the 6-footers that came with it, and I chose to make an 8-footer into just short of a 6-footer, and therefore I was 1 8-footer short. I had to place an order with Vans. Thankfully, I had another order of parts for the elevators that I needed to make anyway, so it was just a matter of a few dollars more in the parts order. The problem was that they shipped the J channel, the 8-foot J channel, to me. And they were a little bit overzealous with the wrapping. I sent a picture back. I contacted the orders department and sent pictures to them, and they showed them how twisted the J channel was that I just purchased and just received. I didn't want to work with it, and I tried bending it back into shape. It wouldn't go to a reasonable amount that I was satisfied with or comfortable installing in my airplane. Even the builder support guy that I spoke with, he said, well, try bending it back, try twisting it, see if it helps. I just went ahead and said, no, I think I'm going to just order it, get a new one. So I did. Yeah, so cutting them all to length. There are different lengths and in different parts because, well, there's like 4 along the skins. There's 2 that connect to the bottom tray, the underside of the plane, and then there's 3 that go up top through each of the bulkheads to provide support for the top skins. And let me tell you, the Dremel cutting wheel works phenomenally, but it is so brittle. I think I went through about maybe 6 of these wheels. I was marking them off as I went in the plans, so you just make sure that, because the plans call for J channels at a certain length, maybe like in a quantity of 1, and then 2 more J channels at a certain length, and 2 more J channels at a certain length, and I think there was a total of 4 cuts that were at the same exact length. However, these J channels, they are positioned on the inside the skins at different positions, and therefore they may have the same part number, F1047, but they'll be 1047A through G, and so the letter indicates which position they go in. Like, for example, I believe, let me pull up the plans here while I'm talking, and let's close this. Plans, section 10. And yes, so let's see. There are... okay. I was a little bit further in the plans than I wanted to be, but yeah, so there's F1047C, D, and E. E is close to the bottom of the outside of actually close to the bottom of the stiffener rack. I call it the stiffener rack. But yeah, so here I'm making sure that I've got everything cut right, and the plans call for putting a 45-degree angle on the J channel, but it leaves the flat part that I have against the side facing me of the workbench at the original length, because that is the side that goes directly against the skin. So I wanted to get them all in the get them all marked up and then cut them, but I wanted to make sure that I got them at the right position. Of course, deburring, always important. And be careful when you work with this, because it's thin metal. It will cut you. Don't ask me how I know. I'm just glad that I had really thick rubber-soled shoes on when I was doing this, because, well, I ended up stepping on one of the cut-off pieces. I did discover a little trick, or devise a little trick, and see as I change out one of the cutting wheels. Because, well, see, later on you'll see me mark some lines on the flat, the largest flat piece portion of the J channel. The reason for that is, well, it says to mark a line all the way across on the full length of the J channel. That line is to give you a reference of where you're supposed to drill on the skin, when it's on the skin. so that you have the J-channel positioned properly to give at least 1/8 inch clearance from the J portion of the J-channel. I've seen some builders do a mark a line and then mark another line at the same measurement, and then just use a straight edge. Came up with a little bit of a quicker way of doing things, as you'll see here shortly. The nice thing about using these markers is that if you make a mistake, you can just rub it off, either with your finger or with a little bit of acetone. Acetone works really well. What you can't see me using here is the bandsaw. But yeah, I had to open the doors for this because, well, 8 foot in a 16-foot shop space. Yeah, there's not that much room where the bandsaw is. And it was hot at that point, so I kept the doors closed and the air conditioner and the window running. It's starting to cool down a little bit now. We're not anywhere close to the 100-degree mark that we were at the time that this was shot, thankfully. So, and plus, some of my friends up north from the Illinois area tell me that it is actually in the 60s during the daytime, especially in the morning up there. So, yay, fall is approaching. So clamping down as was what was suggested by when I watched the videos from Christine Russell, aka Plane Lady. She went ahead and clamped them to her bench, and I just took it a step further and clamped not only the J channel but also the straight edge down, and marked a line and did it that way. But I discovered, like I said before, something a little bit faster, which you'll see me do on the next one after this. At each end, though, the plans call for marking another line crossways from the longitudinal line at 1/8 of an inch in from the end of the J channel. That is to give you a position of where to put, how far into on the skin to put the J channel, so that you can position it over the first hole. And there you saw me use the carpenter square at a certain measurement. Got pretty close to what it was called for, but if I were doing it all over again, I would actually put the measure the line that they call for at, I think it was 5/30 seconds in from the edge that is closest to my the back of the workbench, not the front that you see there. Well, that's it for this video, folks. It has been a wild ride so far. I appreciate every one of you coming along for this ride, seeing this airplane built. So on the next video, be sure to tune in, because we are going to be working with some pretty long angle aluminums. We're going to be covering, we're going to first be finishing up this step. Well, I may not show that, but you get the idea. Because I'm going to do this to all the rest of the longerons here. You know, the stiffeners, as some of them go boom, and then, but you get the idea. You know what they're for by now. But 10-6 is on the next video, and we're finally going to start getting to work with some of these side skins. Actually, there's just 2 of them, one on each side. And hopefully we'll get to 10-7 where we're actually fitting the bulkheads to the bottom of the tail cone pan. So, well, actually it's the top of the tail cone pan, but we just do it, upside down. Be sure to like, subscribe, and set that notification bell to show all. That way you don't miss any more videos. By all means, go ahead and go through the playlists to see if you've missed any. Watch time hours really do help the channel grow. If you want to see where we're at in real time, then head on over to our Instagram feed right up there. And if you really want to support the channel and you have the funds to do so, become a member of our Patreon crew, either our ground crew. At the very least, you get an input at some of what goes on the channel, the thumbnails and stuff like that. Then there's the cabin crew, the flight crew. You get a T-shirt, and you really help support the channel. So the information for that is right there. And without further ado, until next time, always check your 6. Peace.